It's time to wake up and smell the coffee. You are joined by Diana Master and Aina Raza Cuello on this beautiful Wednesday morning, and we are excited because, of course, as always on Smell the Coffee, we have the most bizarre, most interesting, and most awkward stories that you can think of, just to give you a break from all the heaviness that is happening in the real world. How are you doing, darling?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Awesome. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
I think that today is also the most perfect weather, like for a cup of coffee.
Yes.
Rather. Like the weather is just, when I was in a cab this morning, it was drizzling and I'm like, oh,
nice.
Why am I even going to work?
Why
I could
aren't I
sleep
in
in.
But y'all need to be careful because they say this is baby making weather. So,
well,
y'all gotta be careful. So, I mean, we're inching closer and closer and closer to Valentine's. And I've been seeing memes. Everyone is saying Valentine's Day is canceled this year. Someone was asked, what are your plans for Valentine's Day? And they're just basically going to be throwing their flip-flop at couples. And I'm like, guys, what is happening?
But Valentine's is just, it's a day of love. It's not
is.
necessarily a day of like intimate couples. It can also be a day just to show love to your colleague, to your friend, to your
crush.
neighbor, to your crush. It doesn't need to be someone you are romantically involved with. Like, so you don't have to be miserable. You don't have to throw flip-flops at couples. Just, you can even show yourself some love.
Definitely.
Take yourself on a date. It's just a day of love. Show yourself some love, or show someone close to you love. Show your pet some love. Maybe you have a dog.
And
I
if
don't
you
know.
have a daughter, now would be like the most, even a son, like the most perfect time to teach them and start getting them into this routine, right? Like, of what they can expect, what they should expect rather. So like for me, I'm gonna take my daughter out. We're gonna go for a date and we're gonna just have fun, man. Wearing our red and white outfits, just
Nice.
I think it's important, especially for young kids, and I always say especially for a girl child, so that they know that, okay, you know what, I can do these things for myself. I don't necessarily need a man to be taking care of me.
And it's such a good example when they see it being done by the people who they spend 99% of their time. For example, the fact that you are showing her that it's possible, it can be done, I think is such a huge step in actually building up confidence in her and propelling her to be a woman who knows her self-worth.
Yes, exactly. And you know, they say that girls' confidence starts plunging at the tender age of 8. Like, that is ridiculous. I thought it starts, you know, pre-teens, teens, but apparently at the age of 8 already, girls, their confidence starts plunging down. So it's like, you need to absolutely show your children that, you know what, this is possible. It's, even if you have a son, take your son out on a date so that you're like, okay, listen, also once you start dating, this is what you should be doing, right? Yeah. For me, with my daughter, it's like, listen, so that when someone's crusty son comes, she won't be impressed by little $20 chocolates.
Not crusty. Okay.
There's a whole trend on the internet about that. Like, it's women saying, teaching my son to do this so that your daughter has to suffer. And then on the other side, it's basically dad saying, doing this for my daughter so that your crusty son doesn't impress her with little things. It's a fun trend, man. It's interesting. You see how these different people are raising their children, especially now in the society, like especially with boys. Back then, we were told boys are not in the kitchen. They don't cook. They don't clean. It's just the girl's job. But now moms are doing something completely different. They're telling their sons, like, no, you have will to also be in the kitchen.
No, you eat most.
You eat. So you're going to be in the kitchen.
Cook.
And normalize not treating your partner like your mother. Like, your partner is not your mother.
Come on with it, Dr. Phil. Come on with it, Dr. Phil.
But we will now be taking a quick ad break and returning with our top stories. So stay tuned.
E-ticket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing. bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
In some piping hot coffee, because here we spill the coffee beans, not the tea. So, Ukraine-born Miss Japan has relinquished her title following a tabloid report that she was having an affair with a married man and weeks of heated public debate on her eligibility. Carolina Shino, who's 26, was crowned Miss Japan almost 2 weeks ago, sparking discussions about her heritage and what constitutes traditional Japanese beauty ideals. The controversy escalated when the Shukan Bunshin newspaper published allegations about her relationship with a married influencer and doctor, leading to public backlash. The organizers of the pageant initially defended her and said that Miss Shino was unaware of the man's marital status. Miss Japan Association believes there was no fault on the part of Carolina Shino, it said on its website. Later, though, they confirmed that she'd continued the relationship even after knowing about the man's marital status. In a statement on Monday, the Miss Japan Association said they'd accepted Miss Shino's request to relinquish the title and offered deep apologies to sponsors, judges, and other stakeholders. The association said the title of Miss Japan will remain vacant for the rest of the year after Miss Shino's decision.
Why did she have to relinquish though? Like, is it the embarrassment?
The problem is,
like, I can understand if she was taken off by the organization to say that we do not agree with your actions, but for her to take herself off.
The problem is, in countries such as Japan, China, and South Korea, the internet is a brutal place. Like, people will come for you. And I'm not talking about just threats, online. These people will send things to your house and tell you, like, listen, we will kill you. Like, literally. They get really crazy. Come and attack one of their idols or one of their celebrities, they will find you and they will attack you.
Yeah.
So I would understand why she'd relinquish, like, the pressure from the public was probably way too much. Like, they're not going to tell us the full story, but also, Miss Ma'am, there was a problem with how you won Miss Japan.
How did she win Miss Japan?
The problem is, it's not about how, it's the fact that she's actually not full Japanese.
Okay.
Right? So imagine, for example, let's say some person from Ethiopia comes and takes part in Miss Namibia and they win Miss Namibia. Namibians are not going to be happy about that. And I understand why. They wouldn't be. But her argument was, no, but Japan is all I've ever known. She was born in the Ukraine and then she moved to Japan when she was 5 years old and she spent the rest of her time there in Japan.
So now she has residency.
Now she's basically Japanese now.
So she can win.
She can win, I guess. But then again, I would understand why people were mad.
Yeah.
It's the same in the case of Brooke Jackson, the Miss Zimbabwe. Everyone was like, she can't even say Harare, she says Harare.
Harare,
like in Zimbabwe. Like, Miss Ma'am, okay, cool, to each their own, I guess.
I think it's just a pity that you can attain a level of success and then lose it instantly. Falling from grace is like the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone deserves to go through anything like that. Having your life in order, working so hard to attain this thing, years and years of preparation to win Miss Japanese, and you finally win, and then all of a sudden it's taken away just like that. Be it by yourself or by other people, it's gone.
Be it by yourself. I like that you said be it by yourself, because someone being in the public eye, in the limelight like that, and already because you're facing all this backlash, like, I'm pretty sure when she entered, everyone was like, why would you enter for Miss Japan, right? So already you know that you have haters and you have enemies. She should have been a little more careful.
Yeah, all right, moving over to our next story. This is a story that we've been covering for even last year. For most of our stories, just very, very interesting. It's about a topic that we all love to talk about. The Kenyan Christian cult leader Paul Mackenzie and 29 other suspects were charged with a murder of 191 children on Tuesday morning by the Malindi High Court. The children's bodies were exhumed from the Shakahola forest in eastern Kenya last year, where Mackenzie and his associates were accused of running a death cult. Authorities exhumed over 400 bodies from a sprawling forest. After months of searching efforts, Mackenzie and the 29 others pleaded not guilty to the charges. One suspect was found mentally unfit to stand trial. Mackenzie faces several other charges, including terrorism, manslaughter, and child cruelty. His trial begins on the 7th of March. Mackenzie, who ran the Good News International Church, is accused of leading a doomsday cult where he instructed his mess followers to starve themselves and their children to death so that they could reach heaven. Investigators allege the cult was preparing for the end of the world under the instructions of Mackenzie. He has remained in custody since last April as investigators spent months combing the forest with evidence. Yeah. Well, I'm glad at least now that he has been charged because this happened some time ago. I can't remember the month that it happened last year, but imagine you're only being charged now. They're following year.
But you know what? I do have to say, the fact that they kept him in custody, because other times they would be like, okay, fine, we'll let you go, and
on
then
bail.
On bail. So I'm glad they didn't release him on bail, and they actually had him in on other charges of running a TV station without a license or something like that. Yeah, I understand that was the charge that they kept him for while they were gathering evidence, which I think was smart on the prosecutor's part. Because I feel like had they let him go, he was just gonna disappear off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
But like, this is so twisted. This is, I'm at a loss for words.
I lost my train of thought now. I wanted to say something, but yeah, it's completely gone. I think that when it comes to religion, if you dig too deep into it and why certain things happen, it can drive you a little bit
yes. Crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you can actually go crazy. And we have a friend who always argues and says, no, but these people are dumb and whatnot. And it's like, no, most of these churches and these cult leaders, they take advantage of people's problems and their situations. They know that these people are vulnerable, and then they brainwash them to such an extent whereby logic is not even logic anymore. Until you leave, and that's when you're like, oh, wait. Actually, yeah. So we can't necessarily blame the followers and say, oh, but why were they following him?
Where were their families?
You know,
and
we've seen so many cases of people that have been in cults come out and say, I didn't even know I was in a cult until I left. And it's like, oh my goodness, this was bad. So to us looking in from the outside, most of us will be like, yeah, that could never be me. But then once you're in there, because most of these people are so desperate for some sort of salvation or miracle, and these people know, so they take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Because now, imagine, for us, it's like, okay, how are you walking, but you're giving your last money to this person who has a private jet? But because you're told, give and you'll get more, you're so desperate for that. So I don't think the followers are to blame at all, because these people take advantage of that. Now, in the last of our top stories, Valentine's is fast approaching, like I said earlier, and of course we're going to be seeing marriage proposals popping up all over the place. Now here's a man who had an unconventional way of proposing. He gets a huge tattoo on his thigh, popping the question with jeans around his ankles. A brave barber proposed to his partner with his pants around his ankles before getting her to ink yes or no to the question via a checkbox on his body. It is hard to come up with a unique and non-cliche proposal when planning the special occasion, but one man proved he meant business, popping the question with a 10-inch "Marry Me Then" tattoo on his body. Joe Murray proposed to his girlfriend with a thigh tattoo and asked for her hand in marriage with his jeans around his ankles. The barber from Chesterfield, Derbyshire, said he was inspired by tattoos he'd seen online and asked Ant Payne Wright, the owner of Liberty Ink Tattoo, for help to create the question on his body. Ant inked a cartoon version of the couple on Joe's upper left thigh with the writing "Marry Me Then." The tattoo also has a yes and no tick box underneath. Joe's partner, Sarah Graham, was invited down to the studio thinking she was getting a tattoo of her own, but when she arrived at the tattoo parlor, she was stunned when 33-year-old Joe dropped his trousers before he got down on one knee and held out a ring in the tattoo studio. As the gobsmacked 36-year-old said yes, while the song "Love You Till the End" played, the dad of three slipped the gold and pear-shaped diamond ring onto her finger. She then inked a tick into the yes box.
Wow, that is cute. I think that is cute. I could do it. I could ink yes on your body, but could never be on my body.
Could never be you.
Like, could never be
You
on
can't put
my
a bumper
body.
sticker on a Bentley.
Nah, like, okay, it's cute for you,
It's
but
cute.
I won't do
it's
it.
very cute, but then
I
it's
think
also
it's-
like, imagine if she had said no.
And then you'd still have a no.
You put an X in the no.
No, I think they would have not marked if it was a no.
Yo, but like, yo,
So that the next partner can come and choose, and then they mark, I think, during...
So now you just hide the tattoo until you find someone next.
No,
and you're like,
you don't even hide it. You don't need to hide it. You're just like, yeah, so I have this tattoo.
it didn't work out.
No, you don't even
unfortunately.
say it didn't work out. You say you're waiting for the right person. When the right person comes along, and then I would propose, and then we can go and ink to tick. You gotta be smart
And
about
us
it.
being delulu, like, oh my goodness,
Oh my God, that's so cute.
Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. That is the
Yeah.
motto for 2024. Gaslight, gatekeep, and girl boss your way out of any situation that you might find yourself into. But that does bring us to the end of our top stories. Tell us what you think of this proposal idea. Would you do it? Would you not? And if you were on the receiving end, how would you feel if your partner got this huge 9-inch tattoo on their thigh asking you to marry them? That's it. Now, after the break, we head over to the coast and Lo Marie talks to the owner of More Guest House. Stick around for that.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Hallo, en ons kuier vandag hierso by die Mole Guest House hier in Swakop. En hier langs my sit Lien Lou. Sy is die heel eerste vriendelike gesig wat jy sien as jy hier inboek. Hallo Lien,
Hallo Lou Marie.
hoe gaan dit vandag met jou?
In hierdie weer gaan dit goed, dankie.
Ek stem met jou, dis lekker weer. Lien, sê vir my, wat maak die Mole Guest House so spesiaal?
Ek dink ons location en ek dink die feit dat dit walking distance is na alles naby toe. Spar is naby, die see is naby, dis regtig net 3 minute om by die see te gaan stap of te gaan oefen of whatever jy wil doen.
Fietsry of whatever.
Ja, en veral vir al die sport wat nou in Swakop is ons regtig baie goed geleë. Ons is naby die Dome. Die mense stap sommer soontoe en ja, en dan al die restaurante en eetplekke is walking distance. So dit maak dit absoluut 'n wenner.
Absoluut.
Ja.
Ja, wonderlik. Lien, sê vir my, vertel my so 'n bietjie meer van die kamers, jou verskillende kamers wat julle hierso het by die Mole Guest House.
Ons het 18 kamers waarvan 2 die luxury suites is. Hulle is op die agterkant hier, met hulle eie parkering. Dan het ons 3 lekker groot familiekamers, waar dan nou die ouers en hulle kinders kan slaap. En dan die res is twinkamers. So in elke kamer is 2 beddens. Ons het nou nuut ingesit, al die kamers het nou hulle TV's. Die wat ons van praat, die garden rooms hier agter my. Het hulle yskassies en hulle mikrogolfoonde in. Dit maak dit net baie makliker, veral vir die long stays. En
Ek het gesien die luxury suites het hulle eie kombuisie met 'n yskas, met alles, met jou sitkamertjie. Dis dan pragtig.
Dit is wat ons nou maar eintlik vir die honeymoon couples,
Okay.
of dan nou 'n groter gesin, en hy het ook sy eie braaiplek. So, dit is maar vir die mense wat kom vakansie hou, en dan nou op hulle eie haal wil wees.
Lieflik. Nou sê vir my, hoe lank bestaan The Mole Guesthouse al? Is dit 'n nuwe guesthouse wat onlangs oopgemaak?
Nee, ons het in 2020 oopgemaak. Dit was daar in die COVID tyd, en die vorige eienaars drifters is terug Suid-Afrika toe met die COVID tyd, en die eienaar van die geboue het toe nou besluit hy renoveer alles, renovate alles. En toe ons Desember 2020 het ons oopgemaak. En ja, ons is deur die COVID tyd. Ons was regtig besig gewees deur die COVID tyd met die permitte en alles wat die mense moes gehad het.
Ja.
Maar en daar het ons bemarking nou maar begin, en die plek het doen goed. Ek meen,
Ongelooflik, dat jy in COVID begin en jy maak so
en
groot
ek is
sukses.
altyd al vol, ja. Ek is
altyd
regtig
vol.
Altyd vol.
Dis wonderlik. Ag, 'n laaste vraagie, vertel vir my so 'n bietjie meer van die ontbyt.
Ja, dit is een van ons trekpleisters. Ons het 'n groot variasie. Buffet ontbyt, en dan kan jy jou bacon en eiers bestel as jy wil. Vir die groot groepe maak ons regtig net 'n groot buffet. En die mense is baie tevrede met my ontbyt. So dit
So
is
jy
'n
maak die
wenner.
ontbyt.
Ek het in die begin, maar nou het ek die mense getrein. So.
Okay. Ek het nie eens geweet jy maak jou ontbyt nie, en jy lyk my soos 'n vrou wat kan lekker kos maak. So ek glo die ontbyt is
kos.
Ek glo die ontbyt is baie lekker. So mense, asseblief, as julle besluit om met vakansie te kom boek in by die Mole Guesthouse. Kyk hierdie pragtige tuin, jou mense kinders kan lekker hierso speel. Soos Lien gesê het, dis naby. Dis so sentraal geleë, dis naby alles.
Ons het ook in 2022 het ons 'n konferensiesaal gemaak, net agter jou.
Ek sien.
En dit is nogal iets wat moet bemark word, en min mense weet daarvan, maar dit kan 30 mense vat. En dan kry jy jou oggendtee met jou broodjies en jou goed, en dan lunch, en dan kan jy nog jou dinner ook boek. Sal ons ook nog doen. So ons is so stadig maar seker besig om uit te brei, ja.
Maar toe, nou kom ons gee vir die vakansiegangers of vir die mense wat op pad is swak op toe 'n mooi smile.